Where does your soul come from? Where's my soul come from? We probably don't know exactly. I mean, in its root, source, and essence, it comes beyond, part of God. But as it migrates down, depending on what the soul needs as a function in this world to fulfill, will depend on what kind of world its abode is, and therefore what it's capable in godliness, in goodness. So there are four worlds. Atzilus is a world that is an emanation. We call it a world, but really it's an emanation of God. There's God, and then there is what God does. So what God does, he creates worlds. 3 spiritual worlds in this physical world. That's 3 worlds that he creates are Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. Bria means creation, Yetzira means formation. Bria, the world of creation, is a world of primarily divine intelligence. Yetzira is primarily divine emotion, attributes. In the world of Asiya, the world of action, spiritual action, and then in the physical action of this world. A world of where we act upon in the world. We're actors, main actors. They all have a leading role. Now, but that's worlds that God creates. Then there's the world of Atzilus that is an emanation. I give it as a metaphor, like the aura of a person. There's the person, what the person does, and then there's the aura of the person. I use that as a metaphor. That's, word Atzilus means next to, emanates from God. So it's not what we call God, emanation of God. And that world, souls do come from there, but very sublime souls, because there everything is so nullified out of existence that soul is just a reflection of godliness when that soul comes into this world, but nothing else. The most righteous, holy people, very few coming from that world. The world of Bria creation means, by definition, a something. There's a something. Now, that something means it has a definition. It has parameters. It's got an independent sense of being. That's the world of Bria. It starts already as independence. That independence is minimal in the sense that it is very tenuous, that independence in the world of Bria. The world of Yetzirah becomes more independent. How does something become more or less independent? The more the light of God is contracted, the more we don't sense the source where we come from, and we sense our own selfhood. So in this physical world, we sense it more than anywhere else, because here the light is so contracted that there's klipa, primarily klipa in this world, the shell that covers over the divine light. That's what's in this world. Now, to give further understanding of the 4 worlds, I use a metaphor that I've used before, and it's worthwhile to appreciate it again. And that metaphor is as follows. Imagine, folks, just think for a moment that there was an individual that was such a lofty soul, that had such an amazing vision of creating the pill, that you take this, it heals from all physical and spiritual ailments. That'd be hard with the spiritual ones, but at least the physical ones, right? Actually, there is. It's called the Tanya, by the way. That's it. We take this medicine every day. It's healing. So this CEO has this vision. Now, in order to create this pill that's going to heal all of the ills of the world, well, then you need a brain trust of scientists who are going to work on producing this pill, right? And have the scientific knowledge, real scientists, that have the scientific knowledge that they can put together and make this pill. Now, is that pill, because scientists made it, going to heal? No. You know why? Because if you don't have marketers who know how to market this pill, that people should actually indeed take it, then what's it going to help? Nothing. So a bunch of genius scientists who are led by this CEO of the corporation who's got this vision of just saving humanity. And without the marketers who understand the language and understand the hearts of people and how to get to them so that they should want this, not going to work. So you need the marketing team. But then, it's wonderful. Now you got all the marketing. But the pills are sitting in a warehouse somewhere. So now what you need? You need truck drivers. And truck drivers are going to bring the pills to market. And these are 4 different distinct parts of how something evolves. And this is a metaphor that I use to explain the 4 worlds. The world of Atzilus is the CEO of the corporation who is totally given over to all of humanity. They're trying to find, elixir that's going to be that pill that's going to save us from all our ills. And is only there to reflect the godly desire to bring this, right? And has no life of his own, just a life of healing another. Then he brings together these geniuses, these scientists who can make this happen. And they make it happen. So the first world is the CEO is the world of Atzilus. There's a person who's just reflecting the godly will. Now the scientists, they kind of have their own agenda. Are they like the CEO, totally given over to the people? No, because for them science has value, and the intelligence of it has a value. Yeah, they get the vision, but that's not what drives them as much. They're kind of a Mitzias. They're something for themselves. The CEO is nothing for himself. Just totally devoted to helping humanity, serving God by bringing this pill to fruition. But the scientists, not that this is bad, by the way, but they're not like the CEO. They're not like this is their life. Their life is intelligence. Well, this is a real good, intelligent endeavor. So they devote themselves. And they get the vision of what the purpose of this is, but that's not what drives them as much as, the scientific knowledge and awareness and the intelligence is what drives them, and rightfully should drive them, because that's what they're about. If they were like the CEO or like the marketers, they wouldn't fulfill their function. So you gotta just be driven by that. Beautiful. But then that's not enough. We need the next world, the world that's Bria, world of divine intelligence. Then we need the world of emotions. Well, that's what marketing is all about, right? Marketing is about how to get to your emotions so that you'll arouse in the person that they want the product. So that's the world of formation, the world of Yetzirah. That world is the metaphor I'm using, is the marketing team. Now, is marketing team driven by intelligence? No. Are they driven, the intelligence on how this pill is made up of, the 10 ingredients and how it's precisionally made? They have no idea about that. And they don't need to know about that. That's not their function. Their function is, how do we touch this to the hearts of people that they will, right? That's emotions. So that's, That's what the marketing team is there for. Now that's all good and fine. But you know what? With all that, you're not going to have the pill in hand. You know why? Because if you don't have the world of Asiya, the world of action, those who make it happen, who are they? The truck drivers. Right? Just like, it's wonderful to have produce in a warehouse somewhere, but if the truck driver doesn't bring it to the store that you can buy it, ain't helping. So if this pill doesn't get to market, so I need the truck driver. Now, the truck driver is driven by like the CEO with a totally truck driver is, excuse me, but I'm using this as a metaphor. I know I don't mean anything against any truck driver, because I'm sure the truck drivers that are here right now listening are very spiritual. But no one would use them as a metaphor for spirituality, right? The contrary. Kind of materialistic, like kind of, whatever. You get the message. They're not the most, kind of holy people that you think, like the CEO, totally driven to save humanity. Well, that's fine. That person has a purpose. Now, don't be a truck driver that, swears. You're not allowed to, whether you're a truck driver or not, right? But, there's, not so spiritually driven or godly driven. But driven, yes. I should say, godly driven. Hey, this is my job. My job, what God needs from me is to bring this to the people. Bring it to the stores so they can get it there. Bring it to wherever it's necessary. They don't understand the marketing idea. They don't understand the intelligence that goes into this pill. They're not driven like the CEO. It's totally nullified and nothing for themselves but for this. They are who they are. They are something. But yet, they're part of the process. So our souls come from different places. I've suggested this before, and I can't tell you for certain, but I think our souls come primarily from the world of Asiya, the last world. We're the truck drivers. You know why? Because we're the ones who are going to have to bring this to market. We're the ones who are going to bring it to market. What are we bringing to market? The pill. The Alter Rebbe's teachings. This is the pill. So we're not the CEOs, the holy souls like our Rebbe, our dear Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe is the CEO of the corporation. And the brain trust are the big Hasidim who understand, the mashpim, and they're the brain trust who take the teachings. My teacher, Rabbi, my teacher, right, who would take the teachings and, be able to translate it to us in a way that's meaningful. And then you have, those who understand the color of it, the beauty of it, the poets, so to speak, who have the language to be able to bring this to life, as the marketers bring to life, right, the language to the people. But we are primarily truck drivers. We're taking the stuff, the goods, and we have to bring it to everybody around the world. Folks, the mitzvah call to action today is a very simple one. We have every day live approximately 80 people that are learning with us live every single day. And then probably 2 to 3 times that more that are learning afterwards, that they don't get the live class, right? So that's amazing. So we're talking about, around 200 or more people every day that are learning. We're not truck driving well enough. We need to bring this to the next level. You have a friend, share. Sharing is caring. Share with them. You're not the CEO. You're not the brain trust. You're not the marketers. Although we need to have a bit of all of that in us, we do. But primarily, what we are the foot soldiers. We're the ground troops that are going in to we're the final battle against negativity, against evil. And this is the pill. This is the thing that's going to bring and make that difference. And we are foot soldiers in that battle. We're that truck driver bringing the goods to market. So the goods are here. Thank God. We have the Alter Rebbe and his teachings bringing us the goods. Now let's bring it to market, each and every single one of us. Make a resolve. As the month of Nisan is coming, the Rebbe's birthday is coming, and Yud Aleph Nisan, and we have to give a gift. The gift is to bring another person to the teachings, to affect them. Now, it doesn't have, if you can't bring them to the class here, live, it can be not live. And if that's not, share what you've learned. Share it. Be that driver that brings it to others. Then we know we're fulfilling our mandate. That's our generation. We have now the tools like never before. Before, they can never be truck drivers like today, because they had horse and buggy. Today we have real trucks and real vehicles, right? That can go. We have rockets that can go and bring things very quickly everywhere, right? That's all a metaphor for us. That we're in the jet generation, that we have the capability of paying this forward. So, and especially virtually, we never had this before. And what, last 10, 20 years that we have this capability of virtually being connected with anybody and everyone around the world in a way that you can have a meaningful connection with them, as we are doing over here, which, by the way, we're going to bring this up after Pesach to another level with the Tanya Rabbi community. So look forward to hearing more about that after Passover at the end of April. And we're going to bring it up a notch or two. But hey, we've got to be a part of this. So I'm asking you, please share the class. Send it to one person who could be touched by this, and make them aware of it. All right, enough of me. Questions, comments? I don't have the feed before Serach and her coffee. 500 coffee. Thank you, Serach. Questions? Are we limited by what we can achieve spiritually or physically in this world by the world we came from? I don't know if it's called, I mean, it's a limitation, but it means that it's not necessarily a limitation. You know, I'm a rabbi, but I only reach people that want to come to me. You are not a rabbi, and you have people around you that I can't reach. So who's better, me or you? Not a question who's better. It's that everybody has their function and who they can reach. You could reach people I can't reach. So whether you share it with them, explaining it to them, whether you share the link with them, however, but there's people you can reach I can't. So think about that. We're all have a role in this. We're all partners in all of this. Denise, are the souls which dwell in Yetzirah the souls who were reincarnated to make the correction of hopefully reach a higher level than they have completed? I said, no. It doesn't mean like if I'm a soul from Asiya, or next time I have to be a soul of Yetzirah, then Yebriya. Not at all. No, it doesn't have to work that way at all. It means I'm the soul of that world. I have to complete what I need to do being a soul from that world, not from a different world at all. No, that's a different branch from the tree. I'm of this branch. This is what needs to be accomplished. Lori, can you suggest a way to inspire other Jewish people to learn Tanya? I find people dismiss me when I try to share. Thank you, Lori. Let's talk. We'll talk. I don't know what to... When we share with people because we want to change them, that's not good. If we want to share with them because we want to share our lives with them, and we care about them, and they feel that we care about them. Now we want to change them. We care about them. And that's why we're sharing, right? It's a fine line of a difference. So then it might be more palatable for people, but it's, yeah. By the way, between you and I, Jews are harder to inspire than non-Jews, believe it or not. Because Jews, it's a part of their soul, being Jewish. And now you're telling something? So there's a natural inclination, kind of push it away. The non-Jew, it's new. It's not something that they have pushed aside. The Jew has to push it aside because it is a reflection of them, their Jewishness. So either they engage in it or they kind of remove themselves from it. I've told this story before. Beautiful story. My wife and I used to be on campus dealing with students, and on the holiday of Sukkot, we would bring lulav and esrog on campus, and as students were coming during classes, we would try to find them and make the bracha on the lulav and esrog. And I had little kids, 12, 10, 8, 6, and so on, running to find the students. So students from the yonder would see us. Some would say, oh, when they come, and they would take the lulav and esrog, say, oh, I haven't done this since high school, and their hearts would melt to do the mitzvah. Then you would see others. They would see us, and they would make a beeline to run away from us. We knew they were Jewish, right? And they would come, and my kids would come up and say, oh, Chag Sameach, come do the mitzvah. And often they would say, oh, well, I don't have time, because they're trying to get away from it, right? And then often they were with a non-Jewish student. Says, well, why are you lying to the kid? We've got 15 minutes to class. So then they would be embarrassed to do it, and they would do the mitzvah. The truth is, the one who was embarrassed and one who embraced it are really the same thing, just a different way that they expressed. Both the mitzvah of lulav and esrog is an expression of the Jewish soul, as every mitzvah is an expression of the Jewish soul. One wanted to embrace that expression of them, and the other one wanted to run away from it. The non-Jew, lulav and esrog is not an expression of them. They were enamored with it. Wow, this is amazing. This is wonderful. Let me hear more. Because it's not an expression of them, so they weren't threatened by it. The Jew is either threatened by it and therefore wants to run away from it, dismiss it, or they embrace it. But in the end, the reason is because it is an expression of them. That's why it's harder for sometimes a Jew to inspire them as a result. Sometimes it makes it more difficult, especially if you're close, if you're family, by the way. Even more difficult.
It says, interest, 24% per year, which is 2% per month.
Lori, non-Jewish friends are much more open. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Rachel has a question on Instagram. Okay, Rachel, I hope you put 2 question marks first. You did. Good lady. Every soul has a spiritual need for truth, yes. Can every soul from every level share Tanya with yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Every soul wants the truth. Every soul wants to connect to God. Absolutely. Again, the soul from Atzilus is just more, that connection is so much more clear and absolute. The soul of Bria, it's reduced, it's retracted, because the light of God that's animating that soul is contracted. Yitzhira even more so. Asiya, this physical world, so much so that there's so much klipa here. The majority of this world is klipa, is a shell that's covering over the divinity of this world. Absolutely. Beautiful. Wow, guys are amazing, as always. As always. Very inspiring. I'm inspired by you, Paul. I must tell you. What words are the first would you use to introduce them? First words, you're wonderful. You're great the way you are. I love you. I just want to share something that's meaningful to me. I don't know if I would say it that way, but that would be the way you want to come across. Right? Maybe you even want to say it that way. Maybe you even want to say it that way. Pending. Margalazata and Leah have questions. Okay. Denise, I just heard a shir talked about the goof and the neshama, but the Rebbe Shab said our generation is the lowest, and the Rebbe disagreed and said they were the lowest neshama, the highest goof, because of the generation before Mashiach. Yes, okay. Excellent. Mark Lozata, how can we help someone who committed suicide? I am talking about a 15-year-old girl who jumped off from her balcony. Why does someone want to commit suicide? God forbid. Because they feel they're not needed. Doesn't matter whether I live or don't live. It makes no difference. And therefore, it's too painful to live. Therefore, they want to take their lives. How do you respond to that? Well, I think the response is very simple from Tanya. God really needs you. And that's why he created you. He needs you whether you're the foot soldier, truck driver, whatever it is. He needs you because you're an integral part of his plan. Now, you might not feel needed, but you are infinitely needed by God. And the only reason we can't feel that we're infinitely needed by God is because we're just self-absorbed. The greatest self-absorption is that I don't feel needed. That's a self-absorption. The ultimate victimhood. And therefore, it's too painful to continue this way. But if you really get beyond yourself and truly recognize you're really needed. And hence I say, folks, you're really needed. Not just to learn and to be inspired, but you need to take this to someone else and touch their lives in whatever way. However, this is the pill. This is the trufa. This is the medicine that's going to bring the healing. Heal all physical ailments. How? Through spiritual healing. Through being truly healed. And what's the healing? Is that when you could see yourself whole and see another person whole and complete, and therefore share with them. Not because they need healing. Not actually because they need healing. And not because you need healing. But because being complete, and this just brings greater completion when we learn, it just reveals more and more the completion and the wholeness that we have. And that then becomes a motivation to share. Out of caring for another complete whole person. Do we have trials, tribulations, downfalls, issues, and so on? Yeah, but look at the person whole. And maybe that's the answer on how we can truly affect another person. Don't see them as broken. As we mentioned, that's Western civilization. For broken people, so you need therapy. You're unhealthy people, so that's what medicine comes to help. In med school, students learn 2 classes about nutrition. Nutrition is how to maintain health, to be healthy. Med school doesn't teach you that. It teaches you when you're not healthy, when you're sick. So no, let's look at people whole, because that's what Tanya teaches us. Let's see him the complete, and let's just share that wholeness that we have, that we sense, not our brokenness, our wholeness, and share that with another. When we see ourselves that way and we are able to then see another that way, and then we're just sharing with someone that we care for and love. That's a different way to be. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zuch in Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We've got our role, we've got our things that we got to do. We're bringing it to market, and especially, as I mentioned, forthcoming, the Tanya Rabbi community. It will be for only those who wanted another level. Forthcoming, looking forward. Stay tuned. God bless you.